Okay, we are live. Let's just straighten this camera so you can see what we're doing. Live at 5 from London, although about 2 hours late. Well, I think that should do. Okay, yeah. Right, welcome to Roberts & Co. Live at 5. Late as usual. A little live jewellery making session. I need to make an 18 karat gold 1mm halo ring. And I nearly forgot. Whiskey tasting. We've got some, how do you pronounce that? Tullibardine? I'm sure it sounds better with a Scottish accent. We have Tullibardine Highland single malt Scotch whisky, 225 Sauternes cask finish, product of Scotland. Distilled and bottled in Scotland at Tullibardine Distillery Company, Blackford, Perthshire. What's it saying? Handcrafted with passion, much like our jewellery. The history of Tullibardine for distilling and brewing is one of the oldest in Scotland. Located in Blackford, the gateway to the Highlands, it was here in 1488 that the young King James IV of Scotland stopped by on his return from his coronation to purchase beer from the local brewery. This is recorded as the first public purchase of beer in 1947. Oh, in 1947, the brewery was converted to a distillery. I was going to say they fast forwarded a bit there, but yeah, okay. There's a bit of a gap between 1488 and 1947. We have a plentiful supply of fresh spring water from the surrounding Ochil Hills, again Scottish, which are also well known for the gold that was mined from them. Scottish gold. The water which reaches the distillery has taken 15 years to reach the Danny Burn, which runs alongside the distillery. I'm presuming that's the name of the river. Tullibardine is a traditional working distillery. As one of the few remaining family-owned distilleries, our small team of artisan distillers take enormous pride in handcrafting our single malt whisky. The Sauternes cask finish. Barrels, or what is that? Barriques, as they are also called in Bordeaux, vary in volume from one region to another. Because of tradition and the local history of winemaking in Bordeaux, a barrel holds 225 litres. After a long maturation in a Bourbon oak cask, the Tullibardine 225 Sauternes cask finish was recast into 225 litre Sauternes barrels for a further period of maturation. I can read, it's just really small on the back of here and it's white on grey. That's my excuse. Maybe I need glasses to read that. I've got a magnifier there, I should have used that. www.tullibardine.com. So it is actually finished initially. It's matured in Bourbon oak and then transferred to the Sauternes casks. I quite like a sweet wine. Boy, when you're on the dessert wines in a restaurant, does the bill suddenly balloon? But yeah, I'm rather partial to a dessert wine with me dessert. Right, look at that. Fancy bottle. Tullibardine Highland single malt Scotch whisky, 225 Sauternes cask finish, product of Scotland. It's the same, bottled in Scotland. A wonderful golden whisky with interesting citrus flavours, cereal notes and vanilla. There is a touch of pineapple and orange peel on the finish, which is medium to long. Right, let's crack this open with ice. Yeah, there we go, found it. This is not an inexpensive whiskey, but it's not, you know, the grand scheme of things, Nor is it an expensive whiskey. You can spend a lot of money on this stuff. Right. Smells good. Should help the jewellery making process. Yeah, there we go. Good looking bottle. It's got the date there established, 1488 there, or a crown of 1488. Is that when the king visited? Smells good. Not too strong. Yeah, that's really nice. You can definitely taste the bourbon. If I was blind tasting that and had to guess, I'd guess bourbon cask finished, which it is, not Sauternes. It makes I think the Sauternes finish just makes it taste more boozy, if anything. That sort of citrus. I can see where they're coming with the citrusy and orange peel finish, but what they translate to for me is, you know, like it gives it like a liqueur kind of finish. Right, let's get on with the rings before we drink all of that. Then they're not going to happen. This is 1 mil round. I'll give you a close up of this. 1 mil round, 18 carat white gold. There we go. So yeah, 1 mil, 18 carat gold white. I don't know if you can make it out there. Let's compare it to some silver. But do we have any polished silver? Yes, I do. Here's some polished silver. So there's silver. The light's not really great for this, and there, next to that is the 18 carat yellow gold. Now 18 carat yellow gold, 18 carat gold, regardless of the shade, is 75% gold, and then 25% the alloy, the mixture is then 25% other metals. So in this case, probably fine silver. If you want yellow gold, you can do the other 25% could be a mix of fine silver and copper. And if you then want rose gold, you can mix it just with, you can have the other 25%, a mix of copper and silver. And if you want red, real red gold, then just copper. Most of it would probably just be copper. But yeah, you could easily make a red and a rose that would differentiate between one another by varying the amount of silver and copper. So I've got a little crib sheet here that I know how much we need to cut, and we need 58 mil of this to make the size O we are making. This is actually for a customer. I'd normally keep stock of them, but for some reason I've had a bit of a run on size O's like normal. So we'd normally have stock, but let me turn on the YouTube copyright-free music before we do anything. Makes it a little bit more interesting when so I don't have to chat the whole time. There we go. If you're watching this later, this is live, so the audio quality is actually usually okay. It's the visual quality is lower than pre-recorded videos, but yeah, this is broadcasting live and direct from South East London, so the audio quality, the quality all round is slightly lower than pre-recorded. What did I say? 58 mil. 58 mil. Now, 18 carat white gold in its, I mean, we use the highest quality alloys we can get in all of our alloys, regardless of the carat and the colour. And 18 carat yellow is a little bit steely in colour compared to 9 carat or even silver. So it's a little bit darker. I don't know if that came out when we were comparing to silver. It's closer in colour to the steel tweezers than to the silver T-bar pendants here we have. And if you see 18 carat white gold in shop windows, it will invariably be rhodium plated after it's been made. And that's why all the rings look the same regardless of whether they're 9 or 80, because a lot of jewellers, most retailers, they have no idea actually. They're just buying, selling white gold as far as they're concerned. There's no laws for, there's no actual law that I don't believe that says that if it's rhodium plated, it needs to be disclosed. And if there is one, they're certainly not adhering to it. We've got rhodium plating, I've got all the gear, and I've actually got, I was tempted to scrap it. Tempted to scrap the rhodium because the price was so high recently. I haven't looked at it for ages, I haven't needed to. But yeah, I don't rhodium plate any of our metals, and I want to do it, but what I want to do is give customers the option of having, you know, giving the customers the choice whether they want natural or whether they want rhodium plated, because at the minute most people get rhodium plated whether they want it or not. And you can, I mean, in theory, and I don't want to say, you know, there's not a lot of the stuff you see in shop windows is made in this country. It's made, a lot of it will be. So, you know, there are high-end jewellers that do manufacture in-house and buy stuff that's made in this country, but a lot of it will be made somewhere in Asia. And the thing with rhodium plating, let's just give everyone the benefit of the doubt and say that most are using high quality, great colour alloys, but if they were, they wouldn't all need to rhodium plate it, would they? And but if they weren't, for instance, you could rhodium plate yellow gold, and it would look like a white gold engagement ring. Not rhodium plating them. At the moment, we're just not rhodium plating them, but I need to get round to listing all of the 18 carat and the 9 carat. It's the 9 carat, because it's only 37.5% yellow. I mean, gold comes out of the ground one colour, bright yellow. So the 9 carat is 37.5% gold, and then you can add obviously over 60% silver, so you can make it really white, really light alloy. And it doesn't need. I don't think 9 carat needs rhodium plating at all, unless you've got a dodgy mix. It just doesn't need it. It's white enough. But 18 carat doesn't need it either. Like, this doesn't need rhodium plating. But the issue we had, and we don't really get it at the moment, but the issue we've had in the past is if someone's buying a wedding ring from us that's not rhodium plated, and they've got a brand new, freshly rhodium plated. It depends on the plating, but if they've got a freshly plated engagement ring and they put one of our wedding rings, we've had customers accuse us of selling fake rings because they are if you just looked at them in isolation, side by side here on the bench, they would just look the same colour the way you're looking at them. If you put them side by side under halogen lights in a shop window, you're going to go with the rhodium plating, which is why everything in the shop windows are rhodium plated, because it's like chrome plating. It's just so much brighter and lighter, whiter, whereas the natural looks natural. It's a different colour, but I think consumers prefer the rhodium plated, but I do have an issue with it not being declared. So I kind of want to just, when we're doing it, I want to tell people, because it does wear off. And there was a period where we were having issues with rhodium, not our own rhodium plating, obviously. We were having issues. There was a lot of things converged for us to have issues with the 18 karat gold, particularly because we were sending people wedding rings, and they were accusing us of being fake, or complaining that it was a different colour to their engagement, which is fine. You can just send it back. Or what we were recommending, because there's different brands and different colours of rhodium plating. So even if we did rhodium plate it, unless we had the same colour of rhodium, the manufacturer of the engagement ring used would still be a different colour. And there was this period a few years ago, probably going back about 5 years ago. What's happened? Well, what was happening then is rhodium went through a thing where it was kind of quite grey, and like originally the early rhodium plating solutions weren't as white or light as they become. About 5 years ago, you started getting ultra white, ultra bright. It looked like chrome. Like it was, yeah, it looked great, but it looked completely different to 18 karat white gold, like very different. So yeah, the rhodium plating got really white, really bright. And also I think there was a period where people were, because it wears off. It's harder than flash plated gold, but it's a thin layer. So if you especially if you wear an engagement ring next to a wedding ring, if the metal rubbing against metal will rub the plating off. And I mean, people, if you go on your honeymoon and rub your hands through the sandy beach, it rubs it off. But anyway, there was this period where the rhodium had become ultra white, ultra bright, and I think what was also happening is people were getting married really quickly. So they were getting engaged, and then within weeks or months buying wedding rings. So they look completely different. But I think what's happened more recently is rhodium got so expensive that a lot of the jewellers, not the retailers, because they're not doing it, the manufacturers were looking for alternatives. So they were using things like palladium and just, I guess, the lower priced rhodium plating solutions, and they weren't as ultra white or ultra bright as like the pure rhodium plating of previous years. So and also I think where there was a hold on weddings for a while, people were engaged for a lot longer, so their engagement rings changed, became more natural. The plating wore thin, or the rings became, became a little bit more worn and resembled their natural colour. So yeah, it's not rhodium for us. Not rhodium plating, the colour difference is not so much of an issue at present. But I still want to offer customers the option. But then what I really don't want to be doing, the reason I don't want to be replating things, I don't really want to be in the business of rhodium plating, because it will wear off. And then people are going to want, on anniversaries and stuff, they might want not just their wedding band, but their engagement, they might want both plated so that they look fresh and also just a matching colour. Yeah, what we recommend to customers, if they're buying white gold, the chances are that their engagement, unless their engagement is specifically sold as not rhodium plated, it probably is. The best thing to do is to get your wedding rings, and then before the wedding, get them both plated at the same time, because then they'll be exactly the same. They'll be plated in the same plating solution, be the same colour. Then it's something you're probably going to need to have if you want to maintain that colour. You're looking at getting it done every couple of years, dependent on the wear. But yeah, I think it's best just not to bother. They look good enough. Just highly polished, they look great in their natural state. I think it's kind of an omission from the Hallmarking Act could fix that issue. If you had to declare, if you had to declare it as part of the Hallmarking Act, it would probably stop. Be done. From the last time I read it, it is acceptable to plate items after they've been hallmarked, which is fair enough. Like we have tie clips that are hallmarked and then we gold plate them, and we sell them as gold, but we declare it. You know, like there's it's made very clear in the title and description that they're, you know, hallmark sterling silver, gold plated. Where is the? That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, whereas with the rhodium, the only issue I've got with the rhodium plating is the lack of transparency with it. If customers want it, fair enough, and it looks fantastic. There's no denying that rhodium plating looks good, which is why it's done. And it's not that the retailers have been like unscrupulous, they haven't got a clue. If you're buying rings from Hong Kong now, you got to you got to be careful. That whiskey is good. Yeah, the other thing is, I think that will only be a. There are some technical issues we've got. That's why I haven't done it just yet. There is some technical problems with offering the rhodium and unrhodium. Like we could also offer polished and satin, which would be a good finish, but I think it will only be available on our own website because there is a limit to the amount of variations any particular product can have on a lot of platforms, even our own website. And we already do a lot of sizes, you know, like so that the amount of sizes we do for each ring already pushes the limits of variations for some things. Once you start adding polishes and platings, it almost, I think I looked at it, but when I looked at it before, it exceeded the amount of variations. But then you almost want the option. You really want the one ring with the two options rather than having separate listings, because then it's hard for people to see that there is an option. Can I turn that off? Whiskey. But yeah, ultimately rhodium plating is a finish we can offer. We have the capabilities to do it. I've even got I've already got the plating solution to do it. I've had it years. That's if it still works. But it's been a while since I've used it. Yeah, right now we just do 18 carat white and 9 carat white in natural. But I think the plating solution, a lot of the manufacturers are using it right now. They switched from ultra bright rhodium to either palladium or platinum, because rhodium kept going through the roof. And once they switch, they tend to just reorder the same thing. And that again has platinum and palladium are not as bright white as ultra bright rhodium. So if you sit natural 18 carat, if you sit 9 carat white gold unplated next to palladium or platinum plated 18 carat, the 9 carat might actually look, natural 9 carat may actually look slightly whiter and brighter. But the colour difference of natural 18 carat compared to platinum or palladium plated is minor compared to the whitest rhodium. But yeah, I think as well, a lot of retailers make up excuses rather than just declaring that the ring needs rhodium plating again because the rhodium's worn off when it changes colour. You can look online and there are all sorts of excuses that retailers use, that it needs, you know, the gold needs servicing, it just needs a quick polish. They don't declare that it, a lot of them will do, a lot of them that, not all, there's many that they will not even at the point of it being re-rhodium plated, not declare that it's been rhodium plated. They will call it something else, servicing or polishing, cleaning and polishing, and yeah, that happens to all white gold. No, it doesn't. And I think that's, so if they're doing that, and I've read stories of that online when you search for rhodium plating, so they know what, if they're having to do that, they know that the customers are going to be, they know what they're doing is wrong. That they're selling people long-term pieces of jewellery with short-term plated finishes. Does someone say, oh yeah, sorry, we forgot to mention that that ring's plated, it wears off and you're going to have it replated every couple of years. And yeah, it's going to cost, I mean, rhodium prices fluctuate. That's why the car exhaust get nicked. Every time the rhodium price spikes, everyone's catalytic converters gets pinched because they've got some in. But yeah, I'm not against it being done. I want to offer it as a service. I'm just against it not being declared. Even gold plating is a bit of an issue because people have unrealistic expectations of it. Right, there's a rawhide now. Yeah, we get all sorts of crazy, like the gold plating we use when we want to get it off, which I sometimes do. Like I'll leave it in for too long in the colour or not long enough. You know, sometimes we just want to get it back to we gold plate silver, 18 karat red and yellow, and the gold plating takes some doing. When we want to get it off, it takes some doing to get it off in polishing machines and polishing it off. you cannot just rub it off with skin contact or most clothing. There's obviously going to be some things that are abrasive, really abrasive clothing, you know, like Scotch Pat Bright, almost like a kitchen scouring pad, some of these things that people are wearing. But yeah, we get often, I mean, I've had customers that bought like a £15 gold-plated ring to get married with, and the gold plating is apparently just fallen off on their honeymoon. And it's like, no, it hasn't. Just for you. One, why are you buying a £15 wedding ring? And two, I guarantee that if that is a true story, that they put that they wore it to the beach on their honeymoon. I don't know, but that is a true story. But you know, who buys a $14.99 wedding band? Some people do. In the grand scheme of things, at the end of the wedding, it's all you've got left is the daily reminder. You know, like apart from the fond memories and the pictures and the dress you're never going to wear again, it's the wedding rings, the daily thing. You know, it's the daily embodiment of the whole thing. I suppose, you know, spend some money, man. Right, let's see what size we've got. I think that some people just want the party, don't they? Cool, that is pretty close. Let me show you that. Who knows what women want, eh? There we go. It's over the line. That really needs to be just under the line. But with these, we use a ring sizing machine to get the exact size. So that will actually go a fraction up, then a fraction down. Reducing the size of it makes it perfectly round and perfectly flat. Yeah, there we go. 18 carat, 1mm halo ring. Natural finish, not rhodium, for all of the reasons previously mentioned. Right, let's have a sip of this whiskey and then let you go on to your next exciting video. Right, what is this? Tullibardine. How would the Scottish pronounce it? Tullibardine. That was my Scottish accent, by the way. The Scottish would have understood. Tullibardine Highlands single malt Scotch whisky, Sauternes cask finished, 225. After the capacity of the Sauternes barrels. It's really nice, actually. Very mellow. Very mellow. Not a lot. Doesn't smell of much at all. Although I've got quite a lot of ice in here. Yeah, dangerously easy to drink. I would describe that as, especially now it's watered down a little bit with the ice. But yeah, quite a light whiskey. I was going to say light coloured, but that's because that's now quite a lot of water. But it is quite a light coloured whiskey. It did say something about the water. I do remember reading about the river. So yeah, very tasty, light in colour, light on the nose, light on the taste buds. That won't last long at all, right. What a job, eh? Making gold rings and drinking whiskey. Tough, but someone has got to do this. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Last little look at that, and I will see you in the next one. Toodles.